Ahlan, welcome to episode number 6 of ALOG, a podcast for the learners of Egyptian Arabic. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the Egyptian musician Mohamed Abdel-Wahab, who was one of the most famous musicians in the Arab world. I'm going to start reading the Arabic text and then I'm going to explain the grammar of some parts. And in case you don't know, you can check the link below if you want to get the file that comes with this episode. يلا بينا. بما اني اليومين دول بسمع اغاني كتير للموسيقار محمد عبد الوهاب، لقيت عندي فضول اني اعرف عنه اكتر، وحبيت بالمرة اعرفكم انتوا كمان. طيب نبدأ بالمعلومات المعتادة. عبد الوهاب اتولد يوم 13 مارس 1901، وبدأ يغني في فرقة وهو 16 سنة. اشتغل في السينما وهو عنده 33 سنة، وبعدها بسنة بدأ يشتغل في الراديو. عبد الوهاب كان ملحن ومغني، لحن وغنى عشرات الأغاني، واشتغل مع مطربين كتير، يمكن كان أهمهم أم كلثوم وفيروز. أول ويمكن أشهر أغنية اشتغل عليها مع أم كلثوم كانت أغنية انت عمري. عبد الوهاب كان دايما بيجدد في فنه، وعشان كده بقى اسمه موسيقار الأجيال. كان ممثل برضو، وكان بطل 7 أفلام، بس لسبب ما قرر انه يبطل يمثل بعد فيلم لست ملاكا، وده على حد علمي كان سنة 1947. ولو هنتكلم شوية عن حياته الشخصية، فعبد الوهاب اتجوز 3 مرات وخلف 5 عيال، 3 ولاد وبنتين. ومن المعلومات الطريفة ان عبد الوهاب كان بيخاف على صحته جدا، فبدأ وهو عنده 30 سنة ياكل أكل مسلوق وصحي بس، وكان لا بيحب يسهر ولا يشرب شاي أو قهوة. وكانت أقرب عيال عبد الوهاب ليه هي بنته عائشة، واللي ماتت بعد ما مات هو ب10 أيام، وده كان سنة 1991. وبالمناسبة آخر أغنية عملها كانت قبلها بسنتين، سنة 1989، وهي كانت أغنية من غير ليه، اللي كان لحنها أصلا قبلها بأكتر من 25 سنة لعبد الحليم حافظ، لكن عبد الحليم مات قبل ما يقدر يغنيها. Alright, I'm done with the reading now. Let me explain the grammar of some parts. We have 7 notes here. واحد, number 1. Let's take a closer look at the verbs عرف يعرف and عرف يعرف. If you look at them written in Arabic script, they look the same without the diacritics, but they are different. عرف means to know, and عرف means to make know or to teach. We see this in the first paragraph. لقيت عندي فضول إني أعرف عنه أكتر، وحبيت بالمرة أعرفكو. I found myself curious to learn more about him, and I wanted to teach you as well or make you know as well. Again, لقيت عندي فضول إني أعرف, to know or to learn. And then حبيت أعرفكو, I wanted to make you know. أعرف and أعرف, and the ku at the end is you plural. Alright, this was the first note. Number 2, information in Arabic can be singular or plural. We have 2 different words. We have معلومة, which would be a piece of information, and معلومات would be the plural. And we can see this in the second paragraph when I said نبدأ بالمعلومات المعتادة. Number 3, و mainly means and, but it can also be used with the meaning of when or while. And if the sentence is talking about something that happened in the past, was or were would be implied as well without needing anything else. So let's see what I mean by that. Also in the second paragraph I said اشتغل في السينما وهو عنده 33 سنة. He worked in film when he was 33 years old. So I just said وهو عنده 33 سنة. و means when or while, and then هو is he, and then I just said عنده 33 سنة without needing to say كان عنده. So just using و means when, and then was is also implied. Number 4, notice the structure لا ولا, and this is a way of saying neither nor. We can see this in the 6th paragraph. I said وكان لا بيحب يسهر ولا يشرب شاي أو قهوة, and he neither liked to stay up late nor did he like to drink tea or coffee. Number 5, the prepositions قبل before and بعد after can be both followed by the pronoun suffix ها, which means it or literally her, to refer to a point before or after another one that was mentioned earlier. That's just a fancy way of saying that it means earlier or later. If you say قبلها or بعدها, this means later or earlier. We can see this, for example, in the second paragraph when I said اشتغل في السينما وهو عنده 33 سنة. We've already said this one before. He worked in film when he was 33 years old. وبعدها بسنة, and a year later. Okay, so بعدها here means later. And in the last paragraph I said كانت قبلها بسنتين. It was 2 years earlier. One other thing that we can see with these two prepositions, this is actually something that applies to lots of prepositions. بعد and قبل are just two of them. We use the particle ما, which doesn't really mean anything here, after بعد or قبل in case we have a verb within the same clause. We can see this also in the last paragraph when I said, for example, لكن عبد الحليم مات قبل ما يقدر يغنيها. But عبد الحليم died before he could sing it. So I said مات and then قبل ما. Why ما? Because we have يقدر, which is the verb to be able to. We had to use ما after the preposition. Number 6. Notice that I said 10 أيام. This is also something that we can see in the last paragraph. 10 أيام. So we know that 10 is just 10. أيام is the plural of يوم. أيام, it starts with ألف. But when I mentioned it after the number, I said 10 أيام. I added this extra T sound. We do this with a lot of plural forms that start with ألف, in case the noun, the counted noun, is preceded by a number that is between 3 and 10. 3 and 10 are included. And the last note we have today is actually about the past perfect tense in Egyptian Arabic. This was also in the last paragraph. We have lots of things in the last paragraph. Alright, let me just say the translation. The last song he made was 2 years earlier, in 1989, and it was the من غير ليه song, which he had originally written the music for 25 years earlier. What we have here are two time points. One of them happened before the other. So to say had written the music for or had composed, what we did was using the verb to be in the past tense, كان, and then لحن, which is the verb to compose in the past tense. So we use can plus a verb in the perfect tense, the past tense, to make the past perfect. Alright, that was it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it was helpful, and stay tuned for the next one. Salam.